And welcome to the Midday Show. I am Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina. We're going to recap the Little League World Series parade, the Grand Slam parade, as they call it. Then we have a heated debate. You and I like sports. We like talking. We were teachers. We like to talk about the youth. There was a home run trot that you disagree with. There was a player intro that I think most people would disagree with. We're going to debate. We're going to debate as a parent which one's worse. School folders debate. This is blowing up. This is like the #1 trending thing right now. I didn't even know this was a thing. So we're going to debate that as well. Being unplugged, we're going to try to help you. We might have you lay down on the couch. We're going to try to talk to you. Why? What is it about clickbait? What is it about your phone? Why can't we get you away from it? We're going to talk about that. We're going to really get into the recesses of your brain.
Well, so you're doing like a whole makeover now, because now it's my brain. Like 2 minutes ago, you told me to fix my face.
Your face was weird in the screen, so I did say fix your face. Yes.
I mean, nothing is more encouraging. Like, hey, we're going on the air, so fix your face.
What's really shocking is you have 2 daughters, and you've never been told to fix your face. So that says a lot about your daughters and how much they care about you.
Maybe I have been told that, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't listen.
I'm pretty sure I got told that in church a couple of times. Like if I was like droopy or like fix your face, like basically like, let's go, like get on point. You don't remember that? No. And then
that was not a phrase.
I'm pretty sure I had one coach tell me to fix my face because I was probably like pouting or like I wasn't listening. So I can't believe you've never been told to fix your face.
I don't think I've ever been told to fix my face.
Yeah. So just a way to say like straighten up, like get it together, those kinds of things.
I guess. Well, I hope it's fixed. I hope I did it.
Little League World Series parade. You were out and about. You were greeting the people. You were with your cronies. You were part of the crowd.
Yeah, it was fun. You were the man behind the scenes. You were the wizard behind the curtain, if you will.
Trying.
And
so can I tell? So just for those, because we had a really good crowd watching on Facebook. Here's like the beauty of Facebook is the first 40 minutes of the stream. Everyone gets a chance to see the parade, even if you can't be there. People are commenting. Everything's great. The downside of Facebook is like the copyright, the red tape kind of surrounding everything. As a band went by, they played Sweet Caroline. And the Facebook gods that be decided that was copywritten music, and we could no longer.
Well, they didn't decide it. It is copywritten music.
Well, yeah, but it can't be live though. I think
it's funny. At first, I was like, yeah, but then it's just funny. That's how.
Yeah.
They have things that you just can't play music, and it's because they're copyright laws.
I said to you, I'm shocked that if somebody as smart as Facebook can't tell the difference between live music and the actual record itself. Shocks me.
But then could you play? I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. In Facebook's world, they don't want any issues.
Sure.
And the band plays, because here's the thing that I joked about. If the band sucked and it didn't sound good enough, then the algorithm, because it's not like there's not some person sitting there and they're like, it's some, computer bot who can like, oh, I know that song. And they buzzed it. So it's kind of kudos to the band. We had never considered it. We know on here we're not allowed to play stuff we're not allowed to play. We're not allowed to show clips of stuff or we'll get in trouble. We'll get shut down. We never thought that a band going by during a parade would get it shut down. It's why you can watch it on network TV because there's no algorithm. It's not run through Facebook. It's not run through So when I came in the middle because I had to use the facilities and I wanted to check on you and see if you need anything. You're like, we're on YouTube now. Because we got bounced for Sweet Caroline and it wasn't, I don't think it was a high school band. A high school band played it later.
Okay.
But it was one of the other bands that played it earlier. But so that's kind of like a live and learn and laugh it off. And hey, we got bounced from the Grand Slam parade because we were broadcasting and someone played Sweet Caroline.
Yep. No, but it was good. So
one of the other things, then I thought later, not to cut you off, the dance groups that come through.
Yes.
They always have music playing.
Yeah.
So in the future, we're going to have to mute.
Well, the interesting part of it was between the crowd, like between the festivities, the crowd, people talking, fans cheering. I'm impressed it picked up that. I mean, it must have just hit it just right for it to hear that clear enough and for it to actually sink in that this is.
If you were far enough away or down the street or whatever when it was playing, but if Jeremy, who was our cameraman, who did a great job, apparently I heard he did better than I did when I held the camera, but I was having fun.
You were just a little excitable, which is fine. I mean, it was good.
I was having a good time.
I'll give you this. You got right in there, though.
Well, yeah, I told, because he said I need a break.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, I'll do it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I knew that the Montoursville band hadn't come through. And because of my kids, like I know some of these kids. So he came back and he's like, I'm ready when you are. I said, I'm waiting for the Montoursville band.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be obnoxious.
Yeah.
And then the cheerleaders were first, and the cheerleading coach was yelling me to leave the girls alone because, you know, I was just like, no pressure. And so it was fun. No, I had a good time with it.
It was good. Excited for next year. We'll stick with the Little League theme. Here is the basic question if you want. There are 2 clips, pictures, videos, call them whatever you want, media that's going viral. One is of a Little Leaguer who hit a home run, and as he was coming around third, basically did a bull run trot, dug his foot in the ground.
He stopped around third, dug his foot, did this,
did the horns, and then went into home. Another Little League player had an Alexis Texas as his favorite actress. For those who don't know, Alexis Texas is a porn star, one of the most famous porn stars probably of all time, listed on his player intro as he was up to bat on national television.
Okay, so my question to you.
Yes.
Who you have no kids, but if your dad,
yes,
which 12-year-old son are you more annoyed at?
I think you and I disagree, and I think I'm in the minority. I would be way more annoyed with the Alexis Texas than the bull run.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
I knew you did. So this will be good because I don't do you care if I start?
Go ahead.
Okay. There's an aspect to this of I think all kids are annoying. We all go through phases. Like nobody has ever gone.
And just to be fair, they think we're annoying too.
100%. Like I guess where I'm starting with this is to say I think you're picking the lesser of 2 evils here. Like at some point your kids are going to do something.
You're not jumping up and down about either.
Your kids are going to do something that embarrasses you, embarrasses them. Like it's bound to happen. I think between these 2 that we are debating, the bull run home run trot, there is an aspect of you had to do something in order to be able to do it. I'm not saying he earned the right to be a jerk, but he had physically accomplished something that put him in a position where now, like some people home run trot slow, some people flip the bat, some people wave in the stands. He did something that I wouldn't have agreed with, but he did a bull run.
But he hit the home run.
But he did a bull run. But he hit the home run. The Alexis Texas thing is so unearned. Like you didn't do anything to merit the ability to show off or to try to be funny, or like it just didn't feel as merited as the bull run. So I disagree with both.
I get that point.
I disagree
agree with that point.
But I think the reason I lean the home run trot, the bull run, is because it felt a little piece of it felt earned, and the Alexis Texas just felt like cruddy teenage high school, like ha ha ha.
Yeah, but isn't that the beauty of it? I can just picture these kids sitting around filling out these forms because I'm sure they were forms they had to fill out.
Okay.
And fill out the form, and the kids sitting around going, "What did you write? Are you going to put like?"
But the question's not, is it funny? Because it is. Listen, it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Okay, but
can you see the kids like, "I'll bet you won't do it. I'll bet you won't do it. Oh, I'll do it.
Right.
I'll write it," and then thinking that it's never going to slide through the censors because someone at ESPN had to type this in.
Okay.
And then, so I can see that it's all fun and games. And here's the other way I look at it. Like I get the whole bat flip. I get the. Yeah. I've always been a person of less is more.
Okay.
You know, you get in the end zone, you hand the ball to the ref. Like doing the worm in the end zone doesn't make you cooler.
Okay.
It makes you like. So I get that. But so focus these kids when they're 20.
Okay.
When they're in college, which one is cooler? Which one? And looking back, which kid would you rather be?
But wait, because you're changing the question on me.
I get that.
Okay.
But this isn't like one of them is going to age well, And one of them is going, when you're talking to a girl and you're like, and they're like, you really, when you were 12, you really put your favorite actress as a porn star?
Yeah.
Or when you were 12, you dug your foot in the dirt and ran like this?
There's lots of girls, like your daughters wouldn't think the Alexis Texas thing is funny.
I hope they would.
I don't think
because it's
they would.
funny.
I think this is the other thing I have with the Alexis Texas. I agree with you. There is like the smirky, like, what did you put? What did you put? I don't love when the thing you do is wrong, but it's behind the curtain a little bit. And so what I mean by that is like, if you're gonna do it, do it. So like the bull run, it's like, here I am in all my glory, and I'm doing this thing. And the Alexis Texas thing has a little bit of like, oh, nobody will know, and like it's just kind of, you're like hiding behind the curtain and kind of peeking out, like, so that bothers me a little bit more too. Like I don't love that aspect of it.
I get it. I guess the thing part of me too is like, and okay, so if you just take them down to the individual, the kid that did the bull run, I'm on the wrong side here. I'm not being.
You're fine.
The kid that did the bull run.
Okay.
I just think he looks like an idiot. And I understand he's 12.
I don't disagree.
I understand he's 12.
Okay.
And what they think is cool and what I think, I get it.
Yeah.
But I just think he looks like an idiot. The kid who tried to be funny with Alexis Texas, I think it is funny. And I think so maybe that's part of why I like, from what they were trying to accomplish, this kid was trying to be funny. The other kid was trying to be cool. To me, one of them landed way more than the other one.
Why wouldn't the bull run? You don't think he's trying to be funny with his friends? Like, you don't think that, you think he's 100% being cool? You don't think the kids think it's funny? You don't think 12-year-old kids think that's funny waiting at home plate for him? I disagree with that.
Okay. So I think there's a level of I'm a badass instead of I'm being funny. And I think with Alexis Texas, it does it too, because he's like, I'm a 12-year-old kid. I know this porn star.
Sure.
I think his hit a lot more. I think his goal landed a lot more than the kid doing the bull run.
Here's I think I agree with the biggest difference so far being like, you're looking at which was funnier. And I don't even know if I disagree with you. I just don't think that's how I'm taking the question. I think the second biggest difference between you and I is like, I think baseball is stuck up. I think golf is stuck up. I think people who get mad when people celebrate touchdowns are stuck up. Like, maybe it's because I grew up in a world of basketball where like everybody's just constantly trash talking and holding up their follow through and like doing like the idea that after a home run, you can't like celebrate it or do something that does no harm to the other team. Like no harm. Like the bull run did nothing to the other team. And
no, I get it.
So like there is this aspect of like curmudgeon-y baseball, like, well, you know, just touch the bases and get out. Like, no, like he hit a home run. He's doing something with his teammates. They're waiting for him at home plate. He does the bull run. Like, it's fun. It's no different than a wide receiver catching and like doing a celebration in the end zone.
And I get that. And when I was talking to my son about the bull run, one of the things that he said, he is 16 now. He said, if you're going to do something orchestrated and premeditated, it better be good.
Okay.
The bull run isn't good.
The bull run was good.
You think?
Why wasn't the bull run good?
I think it's dorky.
Why though? What about it's dorky?
I don't know.
Like dorky compared to what, I guess is what I would say. Like some of these celebrations, like if you look at the football stuff that these people do, it's all dorky. It's 30-year-old grown linemen like lining up like bowling pins. That's not dorky.
See, I thought that was clever.
Okay, but
the first time I saw it, I thought it was clever. This is what I'm saying to you is like, it's dorky. I get there's a beauty in the eye of the beholder. I get that.
Right. So like this bull run thing isn't like, if your issue is that it's dorky and it's not funny, I can't dispute that. But if your big issue is like it's dorky, like then get out of here.
Well,
the
maybe
Alexis Texas thing.
Okay, now let me explain the bowling pin, and maybe this is why I like it. Because I am very much of the Barry Sanders, the Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith kept every football when he scored. Okay. Barry Sanders handed it to the ref and said, make it look like you're going to get there again. And I totally agree with that.
Okay.
The thing I like about the bowling pins is it lets the linemen are included in the touchdown celebration when they never got to be otherwise because linemen never score touchdowns.
Okay.
So maybe that's just from a personal football aspect why I like that. But no, I am the guy who's like, score a touchdown, hand it to the ref, go shake hands with your lineman, and I'll get you there.
I'm the guy
and you think it's boring.
I'm like, if you don't want him to celebrate, don't let him score. Like this, again, people being so worried about what the other people are doing, worry about yourself.
See, and that's
don't let the kid hit the home run. Don't let the wide receiver score the touchdown if you don't want them to celebrate. Listen, if he was doing a celebration and if his bullhorns were middle fingers, I'm with you. Like if he's doing
that
something,
might be better.
If he's doing something that's like demonstrative or affecting or hurting the other team, then I get it. The bull run was innocent. He's not affecting the other team. Anybody who's bothered by it is somebody that's more worried about other people than themselves.
Okay, now, and my follow-up to that is I agree.
Okay.
So when you're worried about yourself, in the grand scheme of life, if hitting the ball over the fence on national TV doesn't already make you cool enough, if that's not it, if this is what makes you cooler, then you're missing the whole point.
But I don't think
so. Worrying about yourself, the fact that you got in the end zone and they couldn't tackle you, you don't get cooler than that. Doing a pogo stick in the end zone doesn't make you cooler than getting you in the end zone. It makes you less cool.
Okay, so you're one of those people then that you want everybody to care about the result and you want them to work hard, but then to have no emotion or satisfaction or celebration at the end of it. And I just disagree with that.
No, and here's the thing, too.
It's a really cruddy way to like experience sports.
This is the way I look at it.
Okay.
And first of all, you can have emotion without jumping around and doing something stupid. In life, like I always tell my kids, you want to be friends with the idiots. Because then you can go to parties and you can watch them do stupid things and get in trouble that you don't have to do. So thank God there are people that do end zone celebrations. Almost because now they look like that, and now I look cooler because I don't have to do that. So yes, I'm all for individual freedom, and I feel better about myself that I don't have to act like an idiot after I score a touchdown or hit a home run. I'm glad that they do. It just makes me look better.
So just to be clear, you're for individual freedom, but like it's still stupid. That's what you're saying. Like, do whatever you want to do, but it's stupid.
With exceptions, yeah. And I know there's some hypocrisy. There were touchdown celebrations that I like. And I like the ones that involved the bowling pins with the linemen. The first one that they threw the grenade. Anyone that included the people who don't get usually included, I like.
Here's what I would say. You have every right to like which ones you like and which ones you dislike. Correct. But you can't condemn the ones you dislike.
Sure you can.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because there's a difference between disliking them and condemning them. You're like, this was stupid.
Are we back to A-list and icon argument?
No, I'm saying you said this was stupid and he shouldn't have done it. Yes or no?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Okay, this is what I'm saying.
You shouldn't stop halfway between third and home and say, look at me.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying to you, though. There are other celebrations that you've already said that people have done in sports that you thought were funny. And because of that, they're okay. Like, look at me, it's okay because Mark thinks it's funny. And what I'm saying is whether or not you think the bull run is funny shouldn't mean you'd condemn it or not. You're either pro people celebrating that doesn't harm the other people, or you're against people celebrating. You don't get to pick and choose like, well, that celebration was okay because it was hilarious, and this celebration was corny, so it's not.
Well, there are celebrations that go over the line.
This wasn't over the line. What about
this was over the line? Because he stopped between third and home. Just run the like. There's a pitcher on the mound who just gave up a home run, like on national TV. So then stop. Like there's a little bit of.
That's the point I'm getting to. Is like the pitcher is in his own world. The hitter is in his own world. Like the hitter was successful. He's excited. He's going to celebrate. The pitcher needs to worry about the next pitch. If the pitcher or the players,
so there's no celebrations over the line.
No, it's not that no celebration. Like I already said, if he had two middle fingers up as he came around third, the kid shouldn't be allowed to play. Like there's a difference. I agree with that. So that's what I'm saying. So there are levels. And I'm saying that the level to me is, was it good or not? He didn't affect the other team. He didn't slow the game down. He had no actual effect on whether or not the game was completed or finished or anything.
Let me ask you this.
If the kid went to center field doing the bowl and came back, yes, it's a problem. He was going around the bases.
So let me ask you this. If the kid skips all the way around the bases
Okay.
Acceptable, or is he an idiot?
Say it again.
Is he an idiot? Or is it acceptable? If he just skips
around the bases.
If he just skips, like skip to my Lou, like I was a great skipper.
The whole way.
The whole way around.
I think that is probably not a celebration.
Why not?
Because it's probably longer than 20 seconds.
Well, you can skip as fast as you can trot.
Even when dudes like score a touchdown, their celebrations aren't 20 seconds long.
I could skip around the bases just as fast as I did during my home run trot.
Okay.
So is it okay now? Or am I an idiot?
Don't some people do that though? Like, don't some people like slow down when they get to second and
they
stutter?
stutter step to make sure but it's different. If you skip, if you backpedal, didn't Jimmy Pearsall backpedal around the 50? If you run backwards around the bases because you're just like, hey, is this? I'm going kisses. Am I now an idiot? Yeah. If he'd have done that, if he'd have blown kisses.
When I hit a 3, almost every time it goes in, I skip backwards like to the other 3-point line. Very rarely do I just turn and run back.
You backpedal. But it's part of the game. People backpedal all the time.
So this is the point I'm making. Like, people trot around the bases all the time.
Do you do the James Harden stir stuff? I want to be on the screen.
I mean, listen, I've never done that, but I've done some stupid shit after I scored on somebody.
Okay. When James Harden does this, does he look like an idiot?
Can you stop him? I would argue.
No, that wasn't my question.
I just gave you my answer.
Do you think he looks like an idiot?
I think no, because you can't stop him.
Okay. And here's my example. Did Larry Bird do this? Did Michael Jordan do this? And when you mention trash talk, I just asked you a question. Now I'm not going to give you a chance to answer, which isn't fair, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. When you talked about trash talking,
yes,
I get it, because trash talking is not about everybody look at me.
Okay.
Trash talking is personal.
Okay.
And it's not about showmanship and whatever. If Larry Bird would have never done stir it, and Michael Jordan would have never done stir it, they would have said stuff, but it's different.
It's because you're old and curmudgeon-y, because Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods do the fist. I argue the fist pump all the time. Because people are like, oh, look at them. They're such good athletes. Look at Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods fist pump.
That's different.
It's not.
It's not orchestrated.
It's a show of. It's not orchestrated.
It's not orchestrated.
It's orchestrated.
It's a genuine release.
It's a genuine excitement. They're celebrating.
But it's not this.
He's celebrating. Celebrating.
But he's choreographed his celebration.
And by the way, Larry Bird, of all people, was maybe the biggest trash talker of all time. Okay, Larry Bird.
But it wasn't about show.
People talk about Stephen Curry like shooting and turning around. Larry Bird used to shoot it, turn around, and talk to the bench and run back.
But it wasn't about the show.
He's like this innocent. Larry Bird was the show. What are you talking about?
But he was the show. But he didn't talk because he didn't need attention. He talked because it was part of his game with the opponents.
I love Larry Bird. Nobody scored more fourth quarter points in blowouts than Larry Bird. They would leave Larry Bird in, and he would hit 30-footers on people while he would turn to the bench and mock them up 30.
But it wasn't about.
And now you're trying to use him as like the model example of sports.
Because I'll give you the Tiger Woods. I can see Tiger Woods with the fist pump. I can also see Tiger Woods with the double fist pump when he made a putt somewhere in one of his majors. Like, they're exuberance. They are unbridled shows of exuberance. And just like I love the Dallas Cowboys. Where's my cowboy? Here's my jersey. Here's my helmet. I love the Cowboys. When Ezekiel Elliott has an 8-yard run and gets up and goes, feed me, he looks just as stupid as James Harden does. Because you know who didn't get up and go, feed me? Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton. They just went back to the huddle and took the ball again.
Not as stupid as the kid who put the porn star down as his favorite actress.
Nah, that's funny. That's
not stupid at all.
It's totally to be a joke, and it worked. And he never thought it would get through. And I'm sure people disagree. That's my stance.
This is what you also do. Like, you also you end it, and then there's no rebuttal. Just like, and that's why.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It is an opinion. Which kid would I be? And don't get me wrong. If my kid is putting up the Alexis Texas, I'm sure I'm not jumping up and down. But I would say this. I would be more. I really think if my kid did that coming around third base, we would have words in the dugout. We would have if I was the third base coach, I'd be screaming at him going down the third baseline. And this guy's jumping up and down and cheering. And that's one of the things that, like the third base coach, I would be livid if my kid did that between third and home.
But but again, like
livid.
But you're okay with the kid writing the porn star. Like that
because
is
the
a dugout
intention
word.
hit.
Like someone sends you a text and it's a screenshot of what your kid's bio is on the thing while you're watching the game. You're not running down to the dugout. I mean, it's so backwards.
It probably is.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It just doesn't add up.
I think it's funny.
Steven said, did you hear about the kid fell off the bunk bed for Utah?
I did hear that.
Head trauma. We heard about it too. I don't know if this is correct or not, but Laura heard he is in a coma. We did hear about it. We had a couple of reports here in the office about it as well.
But I don't know info.
First. Imagine that kid tweeting, remembering my first shot at Alexis, Texas 6 years from now. Talk about investing. This kid is planting apple seeds and I can't hate it. So there you go.
I got one on my side.
But that's not.
I understand it's not totally the question.
No, it's not even close.
But how it ages is certainly
sounds like Mark never scored a touchdown.
Oh, Mark scored touchdowns.
So there you go.
Mark scored touchdowns. Mark actually Tebowed it once before Tebow ever Tebowed.
God. All right. So here's the next debate for you. I didn't know if you had seen this or not. There is a debate going on online about colored folders because it's back to school season. This is something that, as I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I think they're right. My family is currently in a heated argument. Help me out. You're back in high school. What folder colors do you assign to your classes? Math, science, English, and history. The colors are blue, red, yellow, and green.
Okay, here, let me guess. Let me just guess because I don't know this. Okay. Green has got to be science.
So
yellow, I would say this. Green is science, yellow is history, and I'm getting that from Trivial Pursuit. Am I right so far?
I mean, well, right. No, you're not.
Green is not science?
Because no 15-year-old is basing their folder colors off of Trivial Pursuit.
But am I right on the color? Is green science and yellow history?
No, I mean, no. For me, green is science, but I found out that I might not be like in the majority.
What does the majority say?
So for what I realized, the biggest debate is in math. This is why I wanted to talk.
I thought math was, I would have said math is blue and English is red.
Okay, so the big debate right now is whether or not math is blue. There is a huge following that says math has to be blue. There is another following that says math is 100% red.
What is there an argument either way? Is there like a philosophical, psychological argument?
Apparently, blue is the dullest. So, like, math is the dullest subject. So you have to do blue.
Okay.
There's also the history aspect of red or blue, like Democrat, Republican. So it depends what you are, is what your folder is.
See, I didn't go with that. You know what kind of went with initially is blue is masculine, red is like a darker pink, whatever, and red is feminine. And historically, math was a male subject.
I mean, it's
and
that
the red side, I didn't go politically. I was going to the fact that, like, we have realized that especially in school, girls are either get better or get just as good of grades or even better grades than boys now.
So for me, science was green, just because nature.
Science is green. I think everyone agrees with that.
The crazy part, like going through some of the stuff, I think we might be in the minority with that. For me, it was math was blue, history was red, science was green, English was yellow.
See, and that's why I'm probably thinking yellow with history just because of Trivial Pursuit.
Yellow with history for Trivial Pursuit. But I feel like, who's playing Trivial Pursuit? Like, were you playing Trivial Pursuit when you were in high school?
No. But in my mind, when you tell me,
but you don't have, but like when you're 30, you don't have folders. Like, you don't have a science folder when you're 30.
When you say right now associated color with yellow or associated color with history, I'm associating it with yellow because of.
No, that Heather says I always use the color I like best for the class I liked the most.
Well, see, and that was another thing I was thinking about because I was a math major and blue is my favorite color, so maybe I put those two together.
Okay.
That's why I was asking you the psychology of it. The red, blue, political, left, right is an interesting take on it.
So the math thing was big, and then the history one was big because it seems to be split in half. Half of people think history should be red, and half of people think history should be blue. Now, I think it's more irony.
Wait, history or math?
History. Half think history should be red, half think history should be blue. I think that's more ironic.
Well, they're both wrong because I've just explained to you history is yellow. Yeah, it is. So this is really a debate. Like, people have nothing better to talk about?
They really don't. Dana says math is red, English is blue, science is green, history is yellow.
Okay, so I had those two. But what does Dana know and why?
Exactly. Jack says, these are just people answering questions. Jack says math is blue because it's the coolest. History is red to make you think of a red flag. History will always be taught from a different perspective.
I was thinking, let me jump in, not red flag, but blood.
Okay.
Because history is mostly wars and...
Okay. English is yellow, softest subject. Science is relegated to green because that's what's left. So
no. Science is green because nature is green.
That's not what he says.
Although you could say that, 3/4 of the world is covered by water and science could be blue. But I think
Claire says history is yellow. History is dark and bloody, so it's red. Math is chill, no emotion, blue. Science is green because of nature.
I think that's exactly what I said. So who said that?
Claire.
Claire's right.
I think Claire's right.
Congratulations, Claire.
I'm happy for it. Yeah, so that was mine. So there you go. That was the debate. Did you have folders? Like, did you really have like color?
I'm sure we did. Trapper keepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
The funny thing when you read this question is how many people this is very real for. Like, it's amazing how many people actually had 4 subjects: red, blue, yellow, green.
Well, I get when you bought a Trapper Keeper, they had different subjects. I didn't know it mattered.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the OCD-ness of people who like, oh my God, this is the wrong one.
You don't think so?
Like, it's ruined. It's ruined.
Oh, because you mean math was already written on the
or
color?
something, or they mislabeled, or it was I could you just imagine that, like, oh my God, it's I don't know.
Looking at your desk, I can see why it doesn't bother you at all.
Does not bother me.
I can see why that's not an issue for you.
Does not bother me. I don't know.
Let's go with
there are things that bother me. That's not one of them.
Let's go with this. We've been talking about you being unplugged. We can talk about just like the beauty or the downside of being unplugged from technology, right? People go on trips. There's this whole new thing called unplugging. We basically try to separate yourself from your devices, your iPads, your phones, all that good stuff. I've joked with you. I think you're a smidge addicted to your phone. Definitely clickbait. I have said to you, one of my favorite things about going up north is that disconnect from the phone. I probably unplug almost every other week. I probably go through a 24-hour span where, like, I'm really not on my phone.
And just to clarify, let me translate this to the audience. He's lying, but this is so when I text him and he doesn't respond for 24 hours now, he can just say, well, it was just my
Do you think that's what it is? Heather says yes. Mark is addicted to his phone and admits getting stuck in clickbait. That's an understatement.
I am, I am really, the only time I ever really go without my phone is, like, sometimes when I go for a bike ride, depending on what shorts I have on, and like if it's just depending on how far I'm going to go, then I'd just be like, well, I don't need it until I get back.
But you've described, when we were talking about unplugging, you almost had like an anxiousness when you described it.
When people talk about, oh, it's great, like, I'm away from my phone for 24 hours. I think that's awful. I think it'd be like being away from food for 24 hours. I don't understand why that's... Your phone is so freaking handy.
I agree with that. Like, the handiness of the phone, totally agree with. I said to you, there are times where, like, if I go to a basketball tournament, I just did it as some of the AAU stuff, and I would put my phone in the bag, and, like, the first time I saw it was when we walked out of the gym 9 hours later. And I'm not saying that that is, like, a positive or better than you. What I'm saying, though, is, like, I had to be more present than what you are for those 8 or 9 hours. And nothing else but what's in front of me matters, and for those 8 hours.
I get that, but don't you have the aspect when you get a text from one of those people who you get a text from once every 2 months? Isn't it Like that just made your
get
day.
it. I still get it.
But you get it. But you can't have a conversation now. You can't respond, and you can't go back and forth because you got it hours later.
Still respond.
But he's probably not around, or it's lost, or it's whatever. Like whatever conversation he had.
But what you're describing is an obligation to the moment, and what I'm saying is I'm obligated to the moment in front of me.
But it's not an obligation because I don't have to respond.
Correct, but you do.
But I want to because it's like, oh my gosh, hey, how are you? Like,
you can still do that.
No, you can't. Not if it's locked in your bag. You're not going to look at
the car ride home. Like, hey, saw you text.
But it's lost. It's
not. It's right there in my phone where I left it.
It's like if you call someone and they don't answer, and they're like, "Well, I'll call you back in 6 hours." It's different than if they answer when you call.
But isn't that part like? I'm not saying it's what's wrong with society, but isn't part of like people's struggles a lot of times now is like there's this obligation of like you had a phone, why didn't you answer it? Like people now you expect people now to be attached to their phone and answer it when they're not around. And I just don't think that's how the world should work.
No, okay. And that's a good point, and that's kind of where the whole talking point goes. I don't know if it's an expectation. It is certainly an annoyance when you text someone and they don't respond to you.
But it's your annoyance.
Correct.
Like you created the annoyance.
But I will say this too. One of the differences between you and me is because I have kids at 16, 18, and 20. I do feel an obligation to be available if I'm able to be available. Now, if I'm asleep and they text me, I get it. If I'm showing a house somewhere up where there's no cell service and they can't, I get it. But if I'm just sitting here and my kid texts me, I want to be available for my kid because they may have an immediate question that I have the answer to that helps their life.
Okay, so 2 examples. When you are with your kids, when you're with those people that you just described, do you still pick up the phone? Because I bet you do.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so
because if it's one of my buddies that I haven't
so
been
that's
with.
the point. It never ends. Like it never ends. Like there's always the next person that could call. There's always the next person.
Which is why I think being unplugged is torture.
So listen, I think you want to be available for your kids. I think you want to be available for the people that matter to you in your life. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying though is like it's a very easy way to just make sure that you're always able to answer the phone. Because you still do it even when you're with them.
But it's not, you see, you make it sound like it's a negative, that it's an obligation. And I see it as a positive, like it's entertaining. And like, for example, since I was recruited as the ringer to help win this this wiffle ball championship, now I'm on the wiffle ball group text. And I just got one earlier, and this thread keeps going. Yeah. It's funny.
Okay.
And I know in your aspect, you're like, well, I could read it 5 hours later and it would be funny.
Yes.
But I couldn't respond and be funny, which I did.
They don't need you to respond and be funny.
But
what about the person actually in the room with you who's trying to talk to you, and meanwhile you're like looking down at your phone?
No, but I wasn't in the room at the time. I was sitting in a parking lot.
I understand that. But there's numerous times throughout the day where like I will be telling you something and you'll be like looking down at your phone.
And I do get that. And I could see why that would be annoying. Yeah. And that's why
I'm not saying I'm like super important.
I usually say to people, hold on, let me finish this. Like if you're waiting for a conversation. Okay. And I'm not saying I'm right in this. Okay. Because if you like to hike and depending on what your job is, depending on how you're wired. See, one of the other things now as a realtor, I also understand, especially the way the market's been, that if I get away from my phone for 6 hours, it could have cost me thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Now, if I need to be away from my phone, I get it. Because there's places like when you go in the courthouse, you can't take your phone. And if there's something going on and I have to go cover, I get it. But if I'm just sitting here or if I'm watching TV or I'm watching a movie or whatever, is my cell phone on vibrate? Sure. Okay. Because I can respond at any time. If I get a text from a client while I'm in the movie theater, I can see how respond or how urgent it is and text back.
Lots of people are in the same boat as you, and they have essentially like working hours. Like they like these like if it's a call after 5, like I am not answering it. And then they wake up and they go about their day the next morning. Okay.
But here's the thing, and they've made that conscious decision, understanding that if something happens during my non-working hours, I might have just lost money.
Okay.
So for me, my non-working real estate hours are when I'm coaching a basketball game or when I'm at practice. But you said to me the other day, during practice, you have your phone. It's sitting over there, but when I get a chance, I go check it.
Right.
But it's the same thing. I can text a client back and say, hey, I'm in practice right now. Or if it's urgent enough, and again, when it is a possible deal and there's thousands of dollars on the line, then I can walk out of practice and I can tell the assistants, you got this.
I get it. I'm trying to think how to say this without sounding like a jerk. I think that everything you're saying.
Why would you not sound like a jerk now?
Well, no, because I think everything you're saying is valid in like these small bubbles of your life. And so what I mean by that is like, I'm sure throughout the week there is a moment in time where like your kid needed you to answer the phone. I'm sure throughout the month there is a moment where like a deal might have gone through because you were able to answer the phone at the right time. But I feel like those pockets of time are very minimal for how often we are attached to our phone.
Correct, but you don't know when they're coming.
Cost, I get that. So what I'm saying though is like the cost effectiveness of like your life and when you're looking at the phone and when you're not looking at the phone, it's a little bit like this. And this is not a great example, but people who text when they drive. Let's not kid ourselves. The majority of us text when we drive.
I've never done it.
Yeah, right. So here's what I'm saying. As I've gotten older, I have all but gotten away from texting while I drive because I have just convinced myself of the idea of like, there is a cost effectiveness to like responding to it versus seeing the road. One that I didn't understand 10, 15 years ago.
Correct.
Okay. I think more people should apply that to their life. Like this idea of like, don't text and drive because it's unsafe. I think like your mental health, your lifestyle, the thing like being present in front of you, you should almost think of it the same way as texting and driving, where every single moment that you're checking your phone, every single moment that you're like trying to make sure you didn't miss something, trust me, it's costing you something on the other end.
See, I disagree. I don't see what the negative to it is. Because again, like there are people who would say, because when I was growing up, you didn't know what the baseball score was. I didn't know what the Yankee score was. I had to find it on the radio or I had to whatever. And now if they would have said back in the 80s, you will have a device in your pocket and you can essentially watch every pitch of every game. There are people that would have said, oh my God, that sounds awful.
Yes.
There are some of us that are like, I love it. I can check the score anytime I want.
So yes. And you're playing, this is why I'm right. Because what you just described is the reason people think we have our phones, right? It's a quick flashlight. It's a calculator. I can let someone know I'm running late. All the things that we justify to ourselves, I have to have my phone so I can do these things. The problem though is like, I have to have my phone because it helps me know the score of the game. Great. But then after the score of the game, you go on Facebook and then you go on clickbait. And now you're looking at the 20 best resorts in Idaho. And like, who the hell knows what you're looking at? So again, like everything you're saying is correct. The problem though is like, eventually those correct things become justifications to lead us down the other stuff. So now instead of just checking the phone because I don't want to miss a deal, I don't want to miss my kid's call, I want to make, all of a sudden now 30 minutes later, like you're on like the 5th page of some Instagram model and like looking at like sweaters. You like it just, so again, I think for most people, they don't even realize.
I will say that, can I jump in and say, if I'm looking at Instagram models, I ain't looking at sweaters. But anyway, go ahead. Finish.
I think most people have these great justifications that are unbelievably valid. Everything you just said to me makes complete sense. And yes, you should have a phone for those reasons. The problem, though, is not once did you mention what happens after you do those things. Because we all end up on our phone when we think we're going to be on it for 30 seconds. And then it's 10 minutes later and we're on some page that's worthless while stuff's going on in front of us.
And I get that. And there have been times, lots of times, where I'm scrolling and all of a sudden a half hour is just gone when I'm laying in bed. You know what I used to do? Watch a rerun.
You'd watch Seinfeld, and it was the same thing.
Am I worse? Am I worse off?
In that moment, no. But you also, I think I'm not really talking about those moments.
I will say this, and I do get what you're saying. I think the biggest failure of society is with all that we have and all the comforts that we've made to make our life better, people still struggle with happiness. Okay. And I think their basic struggle, this is going to be way more philosophical than you're expecting. The basic struggle with happiness is we don't know how to entertain ourselves. Mm-hmm. With all the things out there, whatever your interests are, it is out there. Mm-hmm. And it's at your fingertips, but we still sit around and get bored. To take it another step further, I've said this a lot, and this maybe people can relate to this. I've always said, because now that I've divorced in my mid-40s, and now I'm 50, but I've seen so many people that get out of a bad relationship and dive into the next relationship. And I haven't. And one of the things that I've said to people is, I don't think people need relationships because they're lonely. I think a lot of people need relationships because they're bored and they don't know how to entertain themselves. Mm-hmm. So they think the two of us, you can help entertain me because I can't do it myself. Okay. I am never bored. And I understand with the phone addiction, but I have enough interests and hobbies and likes away from my phone mm-hmm. that I am never bored. But I do get what you're saying, that people, you see the people who post they like have conversations with themselves on social media. Mm-hmm. And you can tell they're like this is it's almost like a relationship. Like I do it as like flipping through the channels. There are people that are like, everything, if I'm going to lunch, I have to post it. Yeah. And that becomes unhealthy.
I think I'm not breaking the mold or anything here. There's a significant irony that if you look in like numbers and studies, they were showing TikTok numbers, and they were showing the amount of time that a consumer uses TikTok and then the amount of time that a creator uses TikTok. And it is unbelievable how much less time the creator spends on TikTok than the consumer.
Correct.
And so when you say like, I'm bored, the trick is you've basically turned into a consumer instead of the creator. Because if you're watching a TikTok and then you're going out and you're buying something and putting it together because you watched how to do it, now you're the creator. But if you're just the consumer and you're just flip, like you've lost, like the phone's got you. You've missed it.
Correct. But there's also, if you're using it as a pastime, like when there was a time when I got older and you only have so much time, and where do you give your time to? And I gave up watching regular season hockey mm-hmm. because as a parent, I just didn't have time. There were lots of, when my kids were super young, the only NFL game I watched all week was the Cowboys game because I just didn't have time. Now I've given up. I don't watch TV. I watch sports and I watch movies and I watch Jeopardy. I do watch Jeopardy, but I don't watch sitcoms.
But in these examples, you are watching these alone.
And I've traded my entertainment, and the phone has become entertainment for me.
What I'm saying to you is, like, if you're at Buffalo Wild Wings mm-hmm. and you're with a group of friends mm-hmm. and you're checking your phone every minute, that's the problem. Not you trading phone time for you watching the game alone. It's like, I just went on a bachelor party, I told you, up in Syracuse. Right? I felt unbelievably lucky to be with a group of guys that were not stuck on their phones when we went to dinner, when we went to the concert. Like, we still did like the corny millennial things of like, take the selfie, take the picture, stuff like that. But if you saw, like, if some stranger has a picture of us in the background, it is four dudes talking and enjoying each other, and we're not flipping through the phone. And I think people confuse the two. I'm not disagreeing with you saying, like, what's the difference between me watching TV or watching my phone? None whatsoever. When you're by yourself, there's no difference, right?
Okay.
The difference, though, is like when you're with a group of people and you're constantly checking your phone while watching Sunday NFL instead of talking with your friends or asking, then the phone's got you. The phone has more people in more ways than what we even realize.
But
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I'm in Wild Wings watching football with my local friends.
Okay.
I have one of my best friends from college, maybe my best friend from college, is a big Jets fan. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, God bless the Jets fans because their life is awful.
Okay.
So when something happens, if the Jets are winning in the fourth quarter, like they're driving and they're bringing on the field goal kicker to kick a possible game winner when the Jets only win 3 times a season.
Okay.
Like there's nothing, even if I can be as present in that moment as possible, there's no one else I want to be present with than him. Okay. So I'm texting him, even though he lives in New Jersey and he's not in Williamsport.
That's fine. Then we just have a disagreement of the moment and presence, and that's okay. Like if you're so distraught, or if you care about somebody so much and they're over there, who am I to tell you you're wrong? Is what it is. I would just simply say to you, like, hey, there's a moment going on here, and you might be missing it. That's all.
But for that moment, and I do get what you're saying. It's fine. But it's like
people did it for hundreds of years
because they didn't have a choice,
and they were okay.
They didn't have a choice.
I know, but they were present.
Were they?
They were.
Were they?
You don't think so? Get out of here. You know what? One of my biggest reasons, because you and I
see, I think friendships are better now because of texting.
You and I used to be in a fantasy football league, but I was really, really young. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. That's the first time I ever met you.
Do you remember how fun fantasy football drafts used to be? There was camaraderie. There were jokes across the room. Everyone was engaged in that person's pick. Like football drafts and fantasy drafts were the best. When's the last time you went to a fantasy football draft?
Why? See, I stopped playing fantasy football because it was a time sacrifice.
Dude, it is depressing to go to a fantasy football draft now. It's just 12 dudes on their phone. Like it's just 12 dudes texting, telling people where they're at, when they're going to be home. Like it's not even remotely close to being the same present experience as it was 10 years ago. It's not the same.
And I get that. I totally get that. And 18 months ago, I'm sitting in my room on a Saturday morning working on something because I remember I was sitting at my laptop. So I don't remember if it was work related or personal related or whatever. And my phone rings, college buddy. So I answer it because he says, I have a free ticket to Guns N' Roses tonight. If you can get to New Jersey by whatever, I got a free room and a free ticket. You just got to get here. If I would have been unplugged and I got it at 4:00, I would have A, missed the concert, but B, I would have missed this guy's. I don't see him that much.
I understand.
And so, but by being right there,
I get it.
It gives you opportunities.
But you weren't missing anything.
But I got something better because I was available.
Well, that's a whole other conversation. This like culture of like better.
Guns N' Roses is better than Kenny Chesney.
That's not the point.
Yes, he is. Yes,
the point I'm making is like this culture of like not wanting to commit to things because they're afraid something better will come along.
Well, that's a whole different
other.
That's a whole different.
What you just.
I get that.
But that's what you just described.
No. I got a good offer and I took it. I didn't say, well, let me check.
I understand. But in your example, it's not like, okay, if that happened on a Saturday morning and you were at like Jimmy's whatever, right? Like you were just somewhere watching Jimmy do whatever, and the timing would have worked out that you still would have went. But you were unplugged because you were with Jimmy and you were watching Jimmy. I don't think you'd have any regrets.
But what if my daughter texted me while I was with Jimmy?
But that's your time with Jimmy. I mean,
why does it have to be?
So this is what I'm saying.
Because if I could be helpful,
so you're never gonna be. I think you'll always be like 99% present. Like you'll be 98% present. What I'm saying is, there's very few aspects in your life where you are 100% present, and that's fine. Like you're a high functioning person.
And isn't that better?
Of what? To be 99% present?
To be mostly present, but still available, that if a joke happens over here?
I think it's a presence. I think it's like a preference of how we want to live. I have moments where like I know for a fact, like I do not want to be interrupted right now. I will sacrifice X if I know that for these 3 hours, this is where I am and this is what I'm doing.
And I think we all have those. I just don't have very many.
And what I'm saying to you, though, is like, I think you could, but you're sacrificing some of them. I think the phone forces people into feeling like, yeah, I just don't have those moments. And it's like, well, you do, you don't realize it.
I disagree.
When I go to my mom and dad's, there are times where we will watch a stupid Harry Potter movie for the 100th time. And I will put the phone away, and for 2.5 hours, I am sitting there watching Harry Potter. Nothing else matters.
You just told me you don't get a signal up there.
What's that? I don't.
Well, so you have no choice.
Well, at my parents' house, I do.
Oh, so you do get a signal up there.
At my parents' house, not
Where
at the farm.
Well, oh, okay. That's okay. I understand. That's a valid point.
Lawyer Messina over there.
Well, I just thought.
So
I know I
so
text
like
you all the time, and you're like, oh, Mark texted me again.
So when you watch a movie with your kids,
Mhm.
you make the conscious decision that you're still going to have your phone.
Correct, because
Okay.
they do too.
Yes. So you have all consciously made the decision that we're going to be 70% here. We're going to
Correct.
be 80% here. Yes.
That's
fine.
Does the
That's
movie?
fine.
Does the movie demand my 100%?
It depends. How much do you want to be invested in it? And this is what I'm saying to you. Like when I watched the Carolina Duke games, my phone was gone.
And I get that. It's
in
Carolina Duke.
Okay.
I watched 80% of Licorice Pizza the other night because it's some award-nominated movie, and I thought this must be good. And whatever percent I gave to that movie, I wish they could give it back because I thought it was stupid.
Okay.
So like, thank God I had my phone.
Okay. So
I wouldn't have got as far through it as I did.
So I have no issue being different from you. I don't think you're willing to admit that there certainly is like a small level addiction.
Without a doubt. But I don't know. It's like, are you addicted to food? Like food just makes your life better. It's a necessity. Maybe that's a bad example. That's a terrible example now that I think about it. But like, I hear everyone that they say like, I see on Facebook, and I shouldn't say everyone because that's stupid, but there are people that they show this cabin out in the woods, and they're like, oh my God, I would just move there and I would get away from everyone and whatever. And I was like, yeah, for a day, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And then the second day, you're heading back to civilization.
Totally.
Because living in a log cabin in the woods sucks.
I don't disagree.
So all these people that say like, wouldn't it be great to go hike and to totally unplug for a week and whatever? I was like, no. I think not only would it not be great, I think it would be awful. It would be awful.
But you don't think it would be like I'm trying to think of an example. Tomorrow you woke up and you had this great idea for this script you wanted to write.
Yes.
You don't think it would be beautiful for 12 hours to just no phone, you're like pick a place. For you, it's probably not the beach, but just pick the place that like is just calm and settling to you. And see, I think that's torture for you. The idea of being disconnected for 12 hours for you is just like, you're already kind of like your shoulders dropped, your mouth quenched, like you already are kind of like, nah.
But I can't, like mentally, I can't do it.
So when the apocalypse comes, I mean, like you're just done. I
think I told you this. Maybe I never told you this story. When the one resort we went to, I'm trying to think how old I was. I had a script done that I was going to just sit down and read it.
Okay.
And to read movie scripts are short.
Yeah.
There are hundreds. You can read if you're a good reader. You could read a movie script in an hour. It takes me an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I sat down and I remember reading it. And I got like halfway through it and I sat it down because I was like, okay, I need to go do something. And then I looked around. I was like, oh my God, I don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
And then I kind of picked it back up, but I couldn't focus. It's one of the things I'm impressed with doctors about, other than the fact that they can deal with blood and I can't. But I can't imagine they're like, oh, it was a 7-hour surgery. Well, you know what they did? They focused really, really hard for 7 hours.
Correct.
You know what I can't do? That. I can't.
You can't, or there's just so many things in your way that you can't. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
Has phones increased people's ADHD and their lack of attention? And I get that. I can't do it.
But see, I think people blame. Okay. I'm not just talking about you personally, like I'm broadening
society, right?
I think people in general still blame the phone. Like it's not there, like it's not a choice. Like, yeah, my phone, it is like and it's like, no, like you can do whatever you need, you can do whatever you need to do with that thing. Like just
and you just threw up. Oh my God, I was so scared watching it fly across the room.
That's the point I'm making. Like I think for some people it's like, yeah, the phone, like I just can't. It's like don't pick it up. Like don't touch it. Like, just put it over there. Like, it's good. Like, I think people still think the phone is the problem.
I don't. I think the phone is not a problem at all. I think
it's
the phone's great.
It's why I was in the minority about like the Facebook and the Instagram stuff, because I can't express enough. Like, don't if you can't handle it, like if you can't bring yourself to get off of it, don't pick it up. Like, don't.
Well, yes. I mean,
like,
the people who are like, I'm getting off Facebook because I need to see social media. Like, that's a you problem.
But there were people that were like condemning Facebook and Instagram. And listen, some of the stuff they did was awful. Like, they lied, they did some shady stuff. But like the 80% of it, like, people need to look in the mirror a little bit. Like, you can't,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
When you make a bold announcement, and now I'm gonna piss off some of our audience, which you never really want to do. But when you make a bold announcement that I've had enough of social media and I'm getting off social media for a while, that is a 100% a you problem.
Sure.
Because you just can't enjoy it for what it should be or what it is. Like, you've lost the grip of it,
yeah.
and you're expecting like this relationship. Like, the Dallas Cowboys and I don't have a relationship because it's one way. Yeah. They're not here, like, they don't care about my feelings, and Facebook doesn't care about your feelings. And so anyway, yeah, that's a whole different topic. But I don't.
It's like we do an hour show, but you keep the phone right there and you answer it, and we don't have a good enough relationship for you to just.
We don't have a good enough
relationship for an hour of your time, like.
But here's like, I can listen to everything you say and I can check, and I've got. Oh, see, my son just texted me 13 minutes ago and I missed it. Can you schedule me for a haircut this week?
Wait, real quick though, is the world standing?
But if he needed something right now, if he had texted me 13 minutes ago and said, "Aren't you supposed to be picking me up?"
He couldn't figure it out.
Well, he might have had to.
And can you imagine the horror that somebody had to figure something out because somebody didn't pick up?
See, 27 minutes ago, I was told that beloved actress Denise Dowse died.
Can you imagine?
No, but there are lots of times, and his haircut is not a big deal, but there are lots of times that, like, for example, I'll give you this example. I might have given this before. I was sitting in my office one day in the middle of the afternoon. My mom called. Mm-hmm. I always answer the phone when my mom calls because it's just like, and I answered the phone because it wasn't tucked in the gym bag, or it wasn't, and I had no reason not to be present. I don't know what I was working on, but I answered the phone, and she said, "I cut my leg and I can't get it to stop bleeding. Yes. Can you take me to the emergency room?"
Told me this story.
So if it ever happened that I was watching a movie or I was watching the Duke Carolina game and just wanted to be 100% in this, that I blocked everyone else out, and someone really needed me, I'd never forgive myself.
I understand that.
So that's why I will give 95%, and I'll keep my phone.
That's the progressive in you and the conservative me, because that one inkling is now going to dictate the other 99.
It's not worth it. The Duke Carolina game doesn't need my 100%.
See, I understand, and that is the difference between us. I'm always going to take the 99, and you're always going to take the 1. It is what it is. We've had several conversations that go this way.
I will leave the door open for the 1.
Yes, always. That's the difference
here's
between
the thing,
you and I.
and this is my argument to you, which I think I enjoy the game just as much with watching it at 95%, knowing that 5% is still in my phone, as you do at 100%.
I won't disagree that, but you, again, like, I am all encompassed. Like, that it is all, I am now hyper aware of everything. And you're not ever going to reach that level.
And I guess so you've reached like nirvana.
I don't think I've reached nirvana. I think I've reached an understanding of, like, people were fine before these things, and people will be fine after them, and I'm not going to let it decide the thing I care the most about that moment.
And I guess I've just either I've trained myself to believe this, or I really do believe this, that me watching the Dallas Cowboys play the Philadelphia Eagles with 95% attention is perfect.
When you're alone, I agree with you. Like, listen,
whoever I'm with.
Listen, when I'm alone and I'm not, like, if it's not like a movie I've been waiting to watch or a game I've been dying to see, like if I'm just channel surfing, if it's just flipping through YouTube, whatever, don't be wrong, I'm double dipping. Like, I'm not implying that. What I'm saying, though, is like, I have made a very conscious effort in my life that if I'm doing the same thing, but I'm with friends, like, I'm not. Like, I'm not doing that. I will double dip with them in the screen, or I will just focus on them. I'm not doing the phone too. Like, I'm not. Like, they're there. I'm getting to see them. I'm hanging out with them. Like, this is where I'm at. And that's anything outside of that is beyond my control.
Yeah, well, see, I think you're missing out. I think you've locked yourself so much into the present.
Here, we'll end with this. Casey had a good one. I give 5% attention to my lunch to give you guys 95%.
You know what's funny? First of all,
What's
she's
that?
lying. That was very nice of her to say that because our ego needs it. She doesn't give 5%, 95%. Jeff doesn't even give me 95% attention. Well, I did actually have a lady stop me on the parade route last night.
You were
she watches every day.
You were telling me about
and I said, "You're the one."
Yeah.
And it wasn't Casey. So this may
so
be
there must be two. There must be two.
There may be two.
That's what you're saying.
And but she did, and she seemed genuine about it. Like it wasn't even like she was mocking us. She's like I watch your show every day.
Yeah.
And
why would she be mocking it?
I don't know, because that's what people do.
Do they? Were you made fun of?
Oh my God! Isn't that what people do? When you're totally giving 100% to your friends, aren't you just making fun of each other?
Is that why you're such a jerk to me? It's because like
I'm not a jerk to you.
Like,
I'm so nice to you. It's
tell
sickening.
people the first thing you say to me when you come in the door.
Well, I can't on the air.
Why?
It's a salutation.
You're so nice to me. Why can't you say it on the air?
Because it is a salutation. It's just words I can't say on the air.
I know it's,
but it's a greeting.
I know it's all out of good fun. Casey says that was my mom, so there you go. She's probably watching it with her mom.
She's lying. That wasn't her mom. I mean, it could. In looking at Casey's picture, I don't know Casey. Okay. In looking at Casey's picture, I think this lady was about, I'm going to say 55 to 60. Be careful. Was the lady. Because I'm 50 and she was older than me.
Because if you're wrong, you're
she was older than me. And although I do suck at that game. I could never be the guy on the boardwalk that guess your age. I would be bad.
I would be really bad. I told you about the concert. And how
when kids get younger, as you get older, younger is harder. I think you do better with people older than you than with people younger than you. That's just mine. Maybe. But it could have been Casey's mom, but she's lying.
I was at a Kenny Chesney concert, and honest to God, trying to tell the difference between somebody that was like 30 and 50, impossible. Trying to tell the difference between somebody that's like 16 to 30, impossible. Like it's impossible. Like there's like two age ranges. Like you're either 30 and above or 30 and under, and I can't tell the difference.
It is hard. I think I told you at a concert I was at, and these two girls were next to me. Yeah. And what threw it off, because nobody else in the crowd, I thought they were mid-20s. Right. But they were like 5'8", 5'9". Right. So they're like almost looking me square in the eye, and I looked at them, and I thought it was two girls and one of their boyfriends, and it was two girls who were teenagers and their dad who was 40 something. He was way older than I thought he was, and they were. But I think I was off by 10 years. Yeah. But maybe because the 15 and the 17-year-old were 5'9" and 5'10". Yeah. That probably helped. But yes, you go. I'll walk into. I've told you I've been at bars before, and I've asked the girl because I've looked at the waitress and thought there's no way you're old enough to serve alcohol because you have to be 18. Right. And I asked one girl in Buffalo Wild Wings once, and I said, "Where do you go to school?" And she said, "I just graduated from LICO." Yeah. And I was like, "I thought you were in high school." And she said, "No, I just graduated college." So yes, it's as you get older, it gets worse and worse. No, Casey, I don't know how old Casey.
It's impossible. My mom is 66. She would be happy to hear you say 55 to 60. There you go.
That really wasn't her mom.
Yeah, I think it was.
She's lying.
Deb says could have been her mom. I know her mom and how old she is, and she looks half her age. There you go.
It wasn't.
Why would it
they're
not?
They're lying.
Why would it not? I don't know who this person is. Thanks for great coverage of the Grand Slam.
You don't know who that is?
I don't know who that is. Coincidence. Hi, guys. Have a good day and a great week. There you go. All right. Anything else before we go? Quickly.
That was interesting. No,
that was it?
I'm starving. I haven't had lunch yet. So at least Casey had 5% of a lunch that I didn't have.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to try it.
Try what?
Unplugging.
And you asked me this too. When I go for a bike ride and I do not have my phone, when I get home, the first thing I do is go find my phone and see what I've missed.
We should do a like half weekend at the farm, where just like for 24 hours, like you just have to be at the farm.
It'd be awful.
You really think so?
It would be awful.
You can fish. You can sit on the beach.
Oh my God! You know what's
things.
Not exciting? Fishing.
Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. Be sure to go to NorthcentralPA.com for all of your local.
Oh, yeah.
news.
Let's take a poor, harmless creature, stick a hook in its mouth, and then throw it back in. You muted me?
I'm Jeff Everett. He's
Am
Mark
I
Messina.
muted?
We will see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, let's throw it back.